I'm going to make one more change to this Rickenbacker. The owner, who has always been historically opposed to push-pull pots or anything like that, that gets a little bit complicated, saw the previous video on this where I had the externally mounted switch to go between the modern and vintage, and he decided that in this one case, that'd be a really useful feature to have. And so I've got this 500K audio taper pot CTS push-pull, which is the best one on the market, and I've tried a whole bunch of different ones. It's full 3/8 bushing, unlike a lot of the smaller push-pull, double throw switches. And it's a real CTS pot underneath. And if the hole hadn't already been drilled out to 3/8, that's factory. I might have gone with a smaller pot, Burns or Alpha, but of the full-size bushing pots, this is by far the best one. It sadly is expensive. It's like $20 for this with the solid shaft. You can get the knurled spline ones for about $10-12 because most guitars that use push-pull pots, they just sell the knurled. But it's a set screw knob, so it's worth it to spend a little bit more for this. And it's just a matter of supply and demand. Not that much demand for this, so the supply is low. So if you do need it, you pay $20, which means I've got to take out this old, brand new 500K audio taper pot. And so I'm going to desolder these, and then I'm going to try to desolder my nice, neat wire, which is just reinforcing all the pots. It just wraps around. It doesn't make a full loop, but it's just helping make sure that even if one of these were to come a little bit loose, all the shielding is still good. So I'll see if I can maybe work this up and get it out. I'm going to start by desoldering and removing these two wires. And I'm doing this without the lav mic, so it won't sound as pretty maybe, if my voice ever does sound pretty. But it's one less wire for me to be juggling while I do all this. And because where the camera has to be and where the tripod has to be, that lav mic cable would just be dangling in my way. So I've got the lovely fire glow finish of the guitar protected by towels, hence the lovely background here. And I'm just going to take off the excess from my old solder from a whole week ago. You can see that copper foil I'll put in there just for a little bit of added insulation. Now, I use pushback wire because it lays up very neatly, and it lays up very neatly against that copper shielding foil. But the nice thing about that is it also gives me a little bit of slack, a little bit of excess, so I don't have to fully undo these to replace them. I can snip them like that. Pull out the wire. And that one didn't cut all the way. Make a million snips like this all the time. Never an issue. Try to film one. Doesn't work. Come on. Let me get that bit of excess wire off there. I'll reuse this pot for something else. It is a good condition, brand new 500K CTS pot. Now I want to get this little bit of solder off here, and maybe I can loosen this. There's not a lot of slack to it, but let's see what I can do. I didn't want there to be a lot of slack because I was trying to build a permanent installation. And I'll recreate that on this. Now, while I'm working, I'm not looking through the camera lens, so I'm not seeing exactly what you're seeing, and I hope that everything is visible and in focus. Just using this braid to wick it up. And I'll not sing that damn Kiss song, though I've got it stuck in my head now. suppose there are worse Kiss songs to have stuck in your head. Not by a lot, but at least it's not something from the Elder or Beth. What's that one I do like a lot? And I'm not trying to disparage Kiss for any Kiss fans out there. I don't want the Kiss Army coming after me in their wheelchairs. Sorry, guys. But, what's that one? Rags, child, Sailor's only daughter, child of the water, too proud to be a queen. Can't remember the name of that. Hard Like Woman. That is a great Kiss song. And of all things, I learned of that song from a Garth Brooks cover. And I never even listened to Garth Brooks either. But when that came out, I was working in a music store. I was managing a music store back when people went and bought CDs and albums and cassettes. The cassettes were already pretty much disappearing by the time I was working there. And a Kiss tribute album came out. Maybe if I loosen the pot on the other side. A whole bunch of people covering Kiss, and the store I was working at had it in a limited edition vinyl pressing. And my girlfriend at the time had a turntable, a brand new turntable. And it was a cool looking record, as I recall. I think it was red, white, and blue. And I got it for her almost as a joke, you know, hey, I got you a Kiss record. But it had some really good covers on there. And that Garth Brooks one was fantastic. I won't sing it for you. Maybe I should start a Patreon for this page. And, yeah, give me money or I will sing. Think that would work? Let's see. Yeah, I think I can do this. Haha, success. Undoing something that I never meant to be undone is fun. All right, so next, before I do this all the way in, I need to get the height of the new pot set. All right, see, it's got this longer bushing, so I need to adjust. Hopefully I can keep that nut and not just have to make it up with extra tooth washers. So let me adjust this one down. Let's see where we're at now. Is that enough for that to grab well? Isn't this an exciting video? You could be watching so many other things. The odds are they're going to have ads every 2 minutes. I'm sorry about having to have ads on this channel. I try to keep it as few as possible. Like I said, when I first reached 1,000 subscribers and started having the possibility of ads, if you don't have ads, YouTube will not promote your videos and no one will find out about you. But like everyone, I hate YouTube ads. So I chose the 4-second long or skip in 4 seconds ads only, and only at the beginning or end of a video, which gives me the least revenue per video and doesn't make them recommend my videos as often as they might otherwise. but I feel like I'm being a little bit less whorish. Speaking of those damn ads, I don't know whether the ads I see on my channel are the same ads you see on my channel, but I keep getting this ad. Fortunately, it's a 4-second long ad for some damn national painting company, house painting company. And I would never hire them because in the ads, they're showing that they're taping off doorknobs and taping off light switches and they're just painting around them. My grandfather would have fired them in a heartbeat, as would I. You take off door hardware, you take off light switch covers, and you paint carefully with no lines where you switch from rollers to smaller brushes, whatever. And then once it's dry, you put all that stuff back. You don't paint up to the edge of a door handle or a hinge, etc., etc. The world is increasingly full of pissant shortcuts. Maybe that's just me. So as you can see from the amps I work on to this little bit of a wiring change that I'm trying to do exactly right, even though no one would ever see this unless I put this on the internets. I try to do everything right. My grandfather instilled a lot of things in me, posture being one of them, hopefully some honesty and doing what's right, but also not taking shortcuts. You do it right. He was a civic engineer. In his retired life, he built bridges and such. When he was in the Marines in World War II, after taking beaches and beachheads and all kinds of things I never want to experience myself. I hope no one watching this ever experiences it. He was at Tinian. He was at Guadalcanal, among many others. He was sniped 4 times. He built landing strips. He built the landing strip the Enola Gay took off from. And that's one of the reasons he was shot by snipers 4 times, because they'd see this guy out there with the surveying equipment and the other guys doing what he said, even though by then they had learned not to salute. Anyway, I figured if he could do a good job while being shot at, and the roads and bridges he built later in life are still working just fine, thank you very much, throughout Arkansas, I can do a good job on this stuff. And I try to sit up straight and stand up straight while I'm doing it. It's been a wide-ranging video about rewiring a guitar. If I did a funny accent while doing this, you'd think you're watching Brad's channel. But that's okay, champions. All right, now I'm gonna give myself enough slack that I can reach where I need to go on that double throw switch, though we're only using 1 pole of it. And I'm gonna have it so down is vintage and up is modern. Because I expect you'll probably be doing vintage more often. I know I would. But that's the reason I chose this blend pot, is it's the knob's smaller than the others, so even if it's up, it's not obtrusive. So let me verify what's what on this switch. With the switch down, I'm gonna do it so it beeps and we'll all hear it. I said, okay, so it's weird. That's what's the 2 that are closed when it's down, and when it's up, these two, and nothing here. So it's closed when it's up, closed when it's down. So that tells me where to connect these wires. I probably should have looked at this before starting the video so I could look like I was experiencing every possible permutation of guitar stuff. But you know, it's also good to show how to figure out how to wire a switch. So let me get myself some bare wire at the end here. This goes into, okay, it's labeled now that I can see it because I'm close enough. C1 common. Got Hard Luck Woman stuck in my head, which is just fine. Much better than Wicked Up, in my opinion. I have to listen to that after this. And for those of you who like country or Americana, whatever you want to call it, check out the Garth Brooks cover. It's quite good. Kind of makes it sound more like the early Rod Stewart song it was supposed to be. I love Rod Stewart before disco and cocaine. Every picture tells a story. That era is just fantastic. So now I got the switch down. I should have no continuity from here to here. Pull the switch up. It'll shunt to that cap. I should have continuity. Yep. Alright, so all that's good. I already restarted this wire, so this is tied fully to the shield. I mean, the copper does a good job as well, I should hope, but it also reinforces each individual pot should one start to come a little bit loose. So now it is time to put all this back together and make it pretty. So I'm going to tuck these wires in here. Alright, let's put all this back together for the first time in a couple of weeks. Starting them by hand. All right. And I'm going to finish them by hand because I don't like using power tools on guitar bodies. If I were to slip, bad things could happen. If I were to have the wrong torque setting or speed setting, or just don't pay attention, really bad things could happen. I'd rather take an extra minute and not owe the guy $3,000 for a new Rickenbacker. Because if I'm going to be buying new Rickenbackers, they would be for me. Though, as much as I love the sound, I don't see myself buying a Rickenbacker. If they made a 360-12 with a 660-12 neck, sign me up. I'm really intrigued by the Fender alternate reality 12, so those seem, I missed it. Those seem really damn good for the price, and they have a much wider neck. And if I wanted to change the pickups, if necessary, it's just a plastic pick guard. A new one can be cut and can take anything. I bet one would sound really good with some of those Lawler gold foils. All right, let me confirm that this is working real quick. Got a million amps here, but none of the ones in this room are playable. So I'll just take this to the other room real quick and we'll make sure it's doing what I expect. Alright, forgive the crappy overhead lighting. I usually do my videos earlier in the day so I can have some natural light coming through the front windows, but it's a rainy, overcast day. So here is vintage. Modern. And if you blend them, let's see. That kind of hollow thing that cap does, it's kind of like the quack on a Strat, but it's not the same. It's a different kind of thing. All right, and these are single coils, and this is a noisy room. So the best place to stand so that it's quiet. There's no way to get it lit on camera this time of day. So anyway, let's see how it sounds through this Vox S kind of thing here. It's nice now that the guitar is intonated that you can actually capo at the 7th fret and play in tune. Well, this guitar is done and part of me will miss it, but that part of me is not my left hand.